the nation's favourite antiques experts.
Let's get fancy.
Behind the wheel of a classic car.
I'm always in turbo.
And a goal to scar Britain for antiques.
Hot stuff.
The aim to make the biggest profit at auction. But it's no mean feat. There'll be worthy winners.
Cha-ching!
Oh, my goodness.
And valiant losers.
Bonkers.
Will it be the high road to glory?
You are my ray of sunshine.
Oh, stop it.
Or the slow road to disaster?
Sorry.
This is Antiques Road Trip. Yeah. Say hello to sunny Sussex and the second leg of the 10th anniversary tour for these two bright sparks.
I'm in second gear, Catherine, and we're taking off. We are taking off.
I feel like we're taking off in this car. We can't go any higher, David.
Yes, seasoned road trippers David Harper and Catherine Southern are on top of the world this morning, as is their super reliable Citroën 2CV Dolly. Lovely.
Well, look at that. I hope it doesn't leak. It's not leaking, is it? It's not leaking, is it?
You know this car can go across farmland. It can't go across lakes.
It does look a bit like a boat. Now,
Come on, darling.
despite not tripping together for a decade, last time out, it was like they'd never been apart.
Looks like my two naughty children.
There we are. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Catherine assembled a bit of a menagerie,
Owls are popular. People like owls.
while David tried to prove that out of fashion was the latest fashion.
I do like a bit of Wedgwood.
But it was just one choice item each
Well done, you.
that brought them both success on the day.
Amazing.
Yes!
Well done.
How are you feeling? We're about level pegging, aren't we, really? I mean, obviously I'm in the lead.
Obviously, you're in the lead. Obviously, I just want to get that across. I'm having the time of my life with you, David.
Lovely.
I'm very happy.
Good to hear, eh? Catherine started this trip with £200, and after the last auction, that's grown to £246 on the nose. David started with the same amount and managed to get an early lead. He now has £285 and 10 pence. Yes, but it's still very much all to play for.
There's just a few pence between us.
Nothing at all. And I like it that way, don't you, genuinely? I would hate it if I was £400 ahead. I'd hate it so much, it would be unbelievable.
You wouldn't hate it. You'd love it. You'd be
It's
rubbing
unbelievable.
your hands together. Money, money, money.
You can just picture him, can't you? For their reunion road trip, our two chums will head east to west all the way along the south coast of England and a final auction in Trowbridge.
The sun is shining. I'm happy.
No more coffee for Catherine, eh? On this second leg, we'll be shopping along the coast road all the way to Arundel. But let's get things going in Hastings. Back in the 1920s, this coastal town was where a legend, John Logie Baird, started messing around with television. So thanks, in part to him, we're able to show you two experts messing about in an antique shop. Look out.
Right, go for it.
That's rubbish parking, David. I could be better than that.
Go on, I'll let you go in first, though. I will be a gentleman.
Do I get first picking?
Go on.
Ooh, very
You
good.
need all the help you can get.
Hey, don't worry, there's plenty for everyone in the Hastings Antiques Warehouse, a sprawling space jam-packed with lovely old items, all to be examined in minute detail by our highly skilled professionals.
Right, help! My head is actually stuck in here.
John Logie Baird would be so proud right now. At least one of them is taking this seriously.
Well, in every single antique shop you go in, probably in the world, you will find a fish knife and a fish fork. They're often still in their boxes, unused. And there's a very good reason for that, because no blighter knows how to use them.
I get the feeling we're about to be shown.
A fish knife will always have this accentuated, eccentric shape. It's never sharp, you're never going to cut yourself with a fish knife. It's not designed for slicing. You would use your very sharp fork, that's very sharp, dig into the fish, and you would peel the skin. And if you do it wrong, it looks abominable.
All right, Miss Manners, we get the picture.
This set here, dating late 19th, early 20th century, it's priced at £10. The blade and the fork are silver plated, but the collars are actually solid silver, which shows the quality.
Very nice. One to think about. Now, having gotten unstuck, Catherine's properly on the prowl.
You see, now this is perfect. Perfectly placed. We're right by the sea. We're in Hastings. And what can we see? Lots of ephemera from fun fairs, the sort of things that we would find on the pier.
You can almost smell the candy floss. This sort of stuff can fetch good money too.
Now this I love. I would buy this 1,000,000 times. This is fantastic. I have no idea what this is a sign for, but I presume it's come from, I don't know, an arcade or a pier or, fun fair, that sort of thing. But what's brilliant about this is these moving eyes. They are watching you. How much is it? £550. Wow.
That took the fun out of the fair, eh? Moving on.
Oh, Catherine, I dream about you every night. Admittedly, they are nightmares. Oh, hello.
You have the worst voice.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
Can you actually play an instrument?
No, what do you think?
David, that was awful,
Fine.
but well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done for
Thank you very
taking
much.
part.
Don't encourage him, Catherine. Right, back to work.
Oh, these are nice. A pair of rice bowls. And I think that they are Burmese. And the reason that I think that they are Burmese is because it's in really high relief. It's quite often got lots of sort of scrolls and really sort of deep foliage around it. Oh, look, there's an elephant. Look at the little elephant on the side. Now I'm really drawn towards it.
They're priced at £45 each.
Nice, nice. Burmese silver, Indian silver, Chinese silver, anything like that always does incredibly well at auction. And we're off to an auction, and I've got a pair of Burmese silver rice bowls. What can possibly go wrong?
Well, you got to buy them first. Let's call in a friendly shopkeeper.
David!
Hi.
David, I do quite like these rice bowls. Now,
Okay.
you've got £45 on them. I would buy both, so that's 90, but I would like a little bit of discount on £90 if possible.
I think the trader would be willing to go down to £75 for the pair. Any lower than a
You
trader
could do 70 on those if I bought the pair.
Squeeze, I can do 70.
You do 70?
I can do 70 on those.
OK, but I'm going to buy the bowls.
OK.
Many thanks, David. That purchase takes her funds down to £176.
Wonderful. Pleased with my bowls. Thank you.
So, as she saunters off, back inside it looks like David's found a friend.
People in the business are generally scared of African masks, not because they're scary because nobody knows very much about them. Crucially, though, their values are determined by their age and quality. So first of all, you've got to be able to put a date on these things. And this does look natural. It's got a nice patination to it. It's nice and grimy. But when these things are made, they're wet wood, it's sappy, and they were dried out over campfires. And the smell of the burning wood lingers for generations.
Get your nose in, David.
There is no smell of wood smoke. It's long gone.
So, based on your theory then, it's old. It's also £90.
You put it into auction, it could absolutely fall through the floor and sell for a tenner, or it could make a couple of hundred. So it's a really funky, chancy thing, this.
Funky and Chancy are your middle names, David. Let's see if there's a deal to be done.
Polly,
Yes,
help me out. What do you think of him? Is he handsome or what?
very handsome.
All right, I want to try and do a deal. But before I do, you've got a fish knife and
Yeah.
a fork over there. It's only a tenner, so I want that. No negotiating.
Yeah.
He's priced at 90. I'd love him for 50.
Oh,
Is that too hard?
yes, very. The best def on it would be 80.
Really? Is that it?
Yeah.
OK, let me have him.
So, with the fish servers thrown in, £90 in total.
I'll go and get my fish knives and I'm off. See you later.
Thank you, bye.
He now has £195 and someone to talk to in the car. It's a brisk walk in the fresh air for Catherine now. Her shopping's been parked for the day, so she's headed along the Sussex coast to Pevensey and the imposing ruins of Pevensey Castle, which has stood in defence of this realm for many centuries. To discover the long and war-torn history of this ancient fortification, Catherine's going to need a guide.
James, lovely to meet you.
James Whitcomb from English Heritage.
Welcome to Pevensey Castle. So behind us here we've got what's been a really significant stronghold on the south coast of England, defending England for about 1500 years, right the way from Roman times all the way up to the Second World War.
Today, the castle sits about half a mile away from the coast, but back when the Romans began construction of Ander Etum, as it was known then, this area was a peninsula, the sea surrounded on three sides, allowing ships to land right beside these defensive walls.
Behind us here you can see this lovely banded stonework and this very distinctive Roman red brick.
Oh, yes, I
which
do.
form a nice little decorative feature on the walls.
So that's what's telling you that it's Roman?
That's right, and we've also done some archaeological work which has looked right at the foundations, and we found some wooden piles which have been dated all the way back to 290 AD.
Let's just sort of think about that time in Roman times. What would have been going on?
This was a time of pirates raiding the south coast of England from the coast of Gaul and modern-day Germany and modern-day Denmark. And so this fortification was built to defend against those pirates.
When the Romans left Britain in around 400 AD, this fortress fell into disuse. It would take another invading army some 600 years later for this place to become a military stronghold once again.
I want to take you to the 28th of October, 1066.
Oh, 1066. Now, I know that date.
So that's Battle of Hastings.
Absolutely. So this was the spot where the Norman army landed.
Actually here.
Right here. William, Duke of Normandy, came with his army across the English Channel. He landed in Pevensey Bay all around us with his ships, unloaded his men, unloaded his horses, before he prepared to march inland to confront Harold Godwinson at the Battle of Hastings. And when he first landed, he came to the old Roman fort which had been abandoned, and he refortified it.
Under William's reign, Pevensey was seen as a vital strategic position, and so, over the next couple of centuries, a castle and other defences were built. It remained an important military base until the 15th century, when it was once again abandoned and fell into ruin. 400 years later, and with the threat of invasion from another foreign power, the castle saw active duty one final time.
So we are actually looking at a Second World War gun emplacement. In 1940, the German army had conquered France and they were basically poised on the other side of the Channel waiting to invade England. So what they've done is they've used local flints, incorporated them into what is a concrete pillbox, essentially, to disguise it and make it camouflaged. And all around the Outer Bailey we were looking at earlier, there's little pillboxes hidden in the walls.
Ah, OK, so this isn't the only one.
No.
Thankfully, these defences were never needed, but after the war, the Pevensey townsfolk petitioned for the modern additions to be left in place, as another chapter in the castle's long military history.
And history's evolved, but the function of Pevensey Castle hasn't really changed that much. It's always been part of the defences of Britain.
Well, let's hope that it's never needed again for that purpose.
Now, further along the coast, David is mulling over his recent purchases.
A fish knife and fork. I bet you Catherine Southern doesn't know how to use a fish knife. You'd think that she would, wouldn't you? You would. I bet she doesn't know how to use a fish knife.
I'm sure you'll explain it to her, David, at great length. He's headed for the seaside resort of Eastbourne, but no bucket and spade for him. There's shopping to do at the Eastbourne Antique Centre.
I'm in.
Sort of. I give that 6 out of 10. Now, if you're fond of a cabinet, this is the place for you. It's wall-to-wall with them in here, all full of lovely items from over 20 dealers. And they even have a unique antiques appraisal service.
What about a bulldog? Hello, Poppy. What do you think? Bulldog? Oh, Poppy, do you mind? Bulldogs? OK, not impressed. What about cats, Poppy? It's a cat, Poppy! It's a cat, Poppy!
Yeah, still work in progress, that one. You're on your own, David.
Right, let me show you something that you take for granted on a daily basis if you post letters. Because if you post a letter, you need a stamp. So 1840, the penny black was introduced. This here is the first stamp in the world. The penny black in 1840 was as revolutionary as the internet was in the 20th century. It changed communication because one penny could send a letter to the street opposite you or between London and Edinburgh for the same price. Now, they were only in existence for a year, in fact, just under a year. So they're relatively rare, but bear this in mind. Between 1840 and 1841, there were 68 million penny blacks produced. Most are lost, about 5% are still in existence. Now, you can pay thousands of pounds for a penny black, one in absolutely pristine condition, never used.
As this one's been through the post, it's £60.
So I think I'm definitely going to have it, but I'm just going to stash it back in its cabinet and have another dash around.
Excellent idea. There's bound to be more lurking around here.
Now, anything drink-related is always quite cool, and this looks quite early. Let's have a look. So it's a sherry label. So let's have a look at the hallmark. It's solid silver. Perfect. You've got the sterling silver mark. No date letter mark. That's not that unusual, especially when you see this head of George III. So this is a real piece of Georgian silver.
Which would date it between 1760 and 1820, and only £20.
And look at the engraving. Hand done, you can see it. Look at the decoration around the outside edge. One line runs into another. Sherry, it's even slightly off-centre. It just sends shivers at the back of my spine. So you get that travelling through time, you get the pleasure in the handling. And you know what? You get some profit.
Well, that's the plan anyway. Let's have a chat with the owner.
Hey, Paul.
What have you got there, David?
Your sherry label.
Yeah, it's a nice
20
piece, that.
quid. It's no money, is it?
It's so reasonable, David.
I mean, am I going to get anything off it?
Not a penny.
Not a penny?
Not a penny, not on that, no.
Well, that's fair enough. OK, we're going to have that. Now
Fine.
then, penny black in the cabinet, in its box, priced at 60. Is there any movement?
Not really. I think that I've priced that so reasonably, I think.
No negotiating?
Not a penny black.
Not even a penny black. Good one. That's fine. I'm perfectly happy at that.
£80 in total, please, David.
I'll get my sherry label.
Thank you.
And I'll go and grab the penny black.
You grab it.
Quite the flurry of shopping for him today. £115 still in hand. Now, time to pick up your chum and head off into the sunset.
Well, that has been great, but I'm starving.
Well, we're going to have some ceviche.
Ceviche?
Yes,
What is ceviche?
you'll find out.
Oh,
Raw fish, David.
raw fish.
You can show off your fish serving skills, David. Nighty-night. Another bright and breezy Sussex day beckons.
Are you happy to be driving again?
Not at all. Absolutely petrified.
Yes, it's Catherine's turn behind the wheel today.
It's this column gear stick, David.
There's nothing wrong with the column gear stick.
There's a lot wrong with it. It's
You're
not...
handling it very well indeed, actually.
You're saying that through gritted teeth. That doesn't sound right.
Well,
Is
it's...
that right?
Look, you're moving forwards at a relatively safe speed, so that's OK for me.
It's all progress. Yesterday, our nervous passenger did a big shop. He picked up a fish-serving set, an African mask, a Georgian decanter label, and a penny black.
The first stamp in the world.
So he now has a little over £115 left to spend. Just one purchase for Catherine, though, a pair of silver rice bowls,
Oh, look, there's an elephant.
leaving £176 in her pocket.
I had such a good day yesterday.
Did you?
Yes. So I feel on top of the world.
Do you?
Yes,
Did you buy lots of lovely, yummy things?
No, not lots. But what I bought, I'm so happy with.
I bought something that I'm not overly sure about. I know what it is, but I'm not overly sure I have bought a good one. It's either going to make a big loss or a nice, chunky, healthy profit. Oh, hello, I love things like that.
We'll find out which it is when all their items head to auction in Broughton, Astley, Leicestershire. But today's excursion begins in Worthing, where there's a parking spot just for Catherine right outside her next shop, Bygone Treasures. Or maybe not. Where's she off to?
I am the world's worst parker, so I've left the car down there. This is all a bit too difficult for me.
You park where you like, Chuck.
Hello!
Inside is a veritable cornucopia of vintage and retro loveliness, with the odd proper antique thrown in for good measure. It's enough to make even the most focused of experts go all giddy.
It's like going for a trip down memory lane, walking through here. There's lots of sort of things relating to my childhood and lots of memories, really, from, yeah, sort of happy times.
Of course, nostalgia was much better back in my day.
There's something I recognise. Not very old, probably from the 80s, maybe? Fine bone china cruet set. So you've got the salt and the pepper. But what do you see here? We can see this wonderful band, a band of blue and gold, and this sort of stylised form around it, which is quite difficult to make out. And what is it? It's Concord. These were the salt and pepper that you received when you were sitting down for your meal on Concord.
The famous supersonic jet airliner built by British and French companies working together, hence the name.
These are actually very special to me because I remember my parents were lucky enough to go on Concorde, and they asked the air steward on Concorde, could they have the little miniature salt and pepper? They got home and they showed them to me, picked one up and dropped it. So they only have one now. But we have a pair here, made by Royal Dalton. They made all the china on board. But £35, if I could get these for £20, they could just take off.
She's been dying to say that. Now, what else grabs you? Ah, sticking with the aviation theme then.
It is fantastic. Can you actually see? You can. What is brilliant about this, you can actually see in the windows, you can see the passengers. Someone who's looking a bit anxious and a bit worried about the flight. Oh, look! That's fantastic. You open up the door at the back and then you've got the air hostess there saluting. That's fabulous.
But with £280 on the ticket, I think that one's staying on the tarmac. Something a little more down to earth, perhaps.
This looks more up my street, £60. Now, they're calling it a vintage set of nested apothecary weights. Now, this is interesting because I've seen these before. I've seen 17th century ones of these. They're normally Germans from Nuremberg, and they can make a lot of money if they are early. I wouldn't call those vintage. They've got age to them. They could at least be 19th century, if not earlier. At £60, they're a strong possibility.
In which case, let's weigh them up over at the till.
Laura. Hi. I've had an amazing time around
Thank
your
you.
shop, especially playing with the aeroplane. Great fun.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen a couple of things, vintage weights.
Yeah,
You've got £60 on them.
I have.
What can you do on those, please?
On those, I'd say the most I can do is 48.
48, OK, 48.
Now, what about the jet set salt and pepper?
You've got £35 on those.
Yes.
What can you do on those, please?
28, honestly, is probably going to be the lowest I can.
Can do a nice
drop
round 25.
to. No.
Right, OK, I'll go 28 and 48.
Yep.
Yep.
£76 to pay, please, Catherine.
Wonderful.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Leaving her with an exact £100 still to work with. Right, cargo safely stowed. Time to jet off to your next destination. Now, no shopping for David just yet. He's also in an aeronautical mood. He's headed back along the coast to Shoreham and the Brighton City Airport, where aviators have taken to the skies since the very early days of flight. And to pilot him through the history of this place, aviation enthusiast Tim Hogburn.
Tim, this is a gorgeous building.
Isn't it just? Yes, piece of Art Deco, opened in 1936, and it's still the terminal building for the UK's oldest licensed airport.
It's amazing. Can we get inside?
Of course we can.
Today, this very stylish airport caters to a large fleet of privately owned aircraft.
Oh, wow, Tim, I mean, this is just the perfect airport.
But the story of flight here begins in 1910, long before this architectural gem was built. Back then, it was just a large field with a hut in it.
A fellow by the name of Harold Piffard came here, and in May of that year, you would have seen him hopping about out on the field there.
In what?
A biplane of his own making.
Oh, so he's one of the early flyers.
Oh, yes.
Was he successful?
Not particularly. He made a number of hops and a few very short flights, perhaps half a mile, up to something like 30 feet, and that was about it. Coming back down was a problem. He spent more time repairing his machine than he did trying to fly it, I think.
The following year, the UK's first ever cargo flight took off from here, transporting a box of light bulbs 6 miles along the coast to Hove and putting this place on the map. More companies set up shop, including the Pashley brothers, Cecil and Eric. They started the flying club here, offering pilot training and joyrides for paying punters. But all that came to a halt in 1914.
When the war started, the First World War, Shoreham was given over to the Army, the Royal Flying Corps. And so we became home to a training unit. So for the rest of the war then, a steady stream of young fellas came here and had their ab initio pilot training. And they were expected to gain that after about 10 hours. They went then to the Central Flying School at Uphaven on Salisbury Plain. They would do perhaps another 20 hours. Then they were deemed fit to go and fly on the Western Front.
So up to 30 hours and they're in action?
Yeah, and so many of them lasted a couple of weeks.
Sadly, Eric Pashley was among the pilots who didn't make it home. But after the war, his brother, Cecil, set up in business again and helped to bring civil aviation back to Shoreham. By the 30s, this place was successful enough that 3 local councils stumped up the cash to build the terminal building and this hangar.
Impressive building, Tim.
Oh, isn't it? Yes. The steelwork is 1936, but the outer skin of the building has been replaced a couple of times, particularly at the end of the Second World War, because in bombing raids through here, the outer skin had actually been blown off of the building.
While the bombs were dropping here, what else was going on?
We became the home for an air sea rescue squadron, 277, and they spent the war doing their best to rescue fellas from out of the Channel. They had Lysander Army Cooperation aircraft, which gave them a beautiful view below, so ideal for searching. But the real stars were the Walrus and the Sea Otter. Peculiar looking machines. They are a boat with wings. They could land on the sea, scoop up some poor fella who's bobbing about in a rubber boat and take off again and bring him back here.
Was it just British chaps that they rescued?
No, sir. British, guys from the Commonwealth, Americans, quite a lot of Americans, and also the occasional German.
Really?
A life's a life.
After World War II, the airport returned to civilian life, and once again, Cecil Pashley was at the forefront, reopening Shoreham's Flying Club. Nowadays, this place is thriving, both as an airport for light aircraft and a centre for teaching the aviators of the future. You can even train to be a commercial pilot here.
Do you think this place is more active today than it's ever been?
It has its moments, yeah. Yeah, there are days when we get more movements in Gatwick.
And let's hope there are clear skies ahead for many more years. Now, out in the Sussex countryside, someone else is having a flyer.
It's interesting, when I'm driving on my own without Mr. Harper, I have to say, I can drive this beautifully. What that tells me is that David makes me very nervous.
He can be quite distracting. Our Catherine is off to the town of Stenning and her last shop of this leg. With a nice round £100 just itching to be spent, let's see what Stenning Antiques has to offer. Well, quite a bit, as it turns out, from furniture to garden ornaments and everything in between, all carefully looked after by Ed. Fond of a hat is Ed. Right, let's get busy, shall we?
Oh, I like this. I like this very much, not the doggy.
Sorry, Fido.
And I am interested in this. Always like a bit of cane work. But I like about this is that it's collapsible. Perfect. Now that has a lovely little carrying handle there. Isn't that smart?
Very. What is it?
And I think that it's actually probably a little table you could take on a picnic. I would say it's about 1940s, 1950s. But they have actually put on here, folding a vintage artist portable store. Well, that actually sounds a bit nicer.
Yeah, I'd go with that then. £58 is the price.
I think once upon a time quite a nice bit of care and attention has been taken to making this, actually. So the top of it is rattan, and then the sides there bamboo. If I can get a deal on that, I'm having it.
Very decisive. Now, just arriving at his final stop is our man Harper. He's pitched up at the town of Arundel, whose inhabitants are affectionately known as mullets, after the fish, not the bad 80s hairdo. He's popping into the Arundel Bridge Antique Centre, and it's another well-stocked establishment. Plenty in here to tempt him to part with his remaining £115. Aye. Looks like he's stepping up to the crease.
Old school cricket bats. How wonderful is that? Let me just smell it. Linseed oil takes me back in time. I used to play cricket for my school. I've been there all padded up, waiting for the ball to come. But I was a bowler more than a batter. I was an opening bowler. Here are some cricket balls. So what we would do, you get 2 balls.
Well, this is an accident waiting to happen. Never in a china shop.
Making your hands agile. And then if you were really brave, you'd use 3.
Catherine was right. He does make you nervous.
I'm not doing any more.
Please don't! Now, back to Stenning, where it looks like more sedate pursuits are on the agenda.
Ed,
Yes?
what do you know about fishing?
Little bit.
What can you tell me about this?
It's a landing net for fly fishing.
So when
trout.
you've done your actual fishing...
when you've got the fish...
This is your last little bit.
And you got it to the edge, that's
Yeah.
what you would use to get the fish out of the water.
I like the handle.
It's nice.
It is quite
Faux
nice.
bamboo, bit of brass on there.
Yeah. From this, I would say that it has got some age.
It's probably between the walls, something like that. I
Between the
reckon.
walls.
Yeah.
Mind you, you've got a hole in here. Your fish could get through, look.
Yes, well, it's got some age.
Good answer, Ed.
I mean, it's got something, hasn't it? People collect fishing.
They do, it's very popular.
£28.
£28.
What can you do on this?
We could do 18.
OK. I've also seen earlier you've got a nice little, well, it's like a stool or a picnic table.
Oh, the artist seat?
Yeah. Can you do 30 on that?
Yeah, it could be 30.
Yeah? That will be lovely. So 30
And 18.
and 18 for my net.
Yes.
48 all in. Not a bad little haul you've landed.
Thank you.
So, while she takes her remaining £52 and heads for the nearest river, back in Arundel, it looks like David's having a ponder.
This tray is very special. It's Chinese. You've got this simulated bamboo top, like a double row of bamboo. But this is made out of Chinese red hardwood. And the colour is really good. That kind of mellow, warm, worn-out red colour compared to the back, which is the original colour. So when this was made, I'd say the late 19th century, 1890-ish, that was the rich, luscious red colour. It's described as a round wooden tray. Well, it is now, but when it started life, I think this formed part of a stand. So it would have been the top of something probably about, I don't know, 3 feet tall, maybe, for a great big vase.
And it can be yours for just £22.
Chinese buyers are online buying back good Chinese pieces. And this, if I'm lucky, might just fall into that category. It could do really very well, but it can't surely sell for any less than £22.
Well, that's the hope anyway. Let's go talk to somebody about it.
Eileen, stop looking at those awful plates and let me show you something gorgeous. Wooden tray, do you love it or what?
I like the bits round here. Looks a bit bamboo-y.
You don't love it?
I don't love it. Not like you love it, I don't think. But I'm warming to it.
Well, £22.
Yep.
I'm not even going to ask a discount.
Wow.
You wouldn't give me a discount anyway, would you?
I would give you a little bit.
Would you?
Yeah.
Well, it's worth £22, I don't mind. What's a couple of quid between friends? I'm going to have it.
Harper, passing up a discount. He really rates it, doesn't he?
Lovely to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
So, with £93 left in his pocket, that's David done too. Now, time for one last dilly-dally in Dolly.
I love first gear and second gear. It's just the in-between bits.
So what, you're just going to keep it in second?
I'm just going to keep in second. I'm not changing.
It's going to take a while before they get some shut-eye. It's time for round 2 in our battle of the road trip royalty. So this splendid residence, Avington House, seems appropriate for a bit of auction watching.
Oh, it's so you, this place.
I would very much be at home here. What a facade.
Oh, my goodness. I could be your manservant.
Charles II lived here.
Well, I've got the goatee. Could I pass?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Are you any good at being a servant?
No, I meant pass as Charles II.
Oh, I see.
I think that answers that one, David. After hugging the south coast, our pair have headed inland to this historic country house at Avington Park near Winchester. Their treasures have headed up to Leicestershire and Broughton-Astley, here to be sold at Sutton Hill Farm Country Auctions, with bids on the books and bidders in the room and online. Catherine forked out £194 on 5 auction lots. Are any of them floating the boat of today's man with a hammer, James Moulds?
We have a really nice pair of Burmese silver rice bowls. A lot of these used to come from begging bowls in the early 18th and 19th century. I think these are really good lots, and I think they'll make quite a lot of money.
David parted with £192 on his 5 lots. What do you reckon, James?
The penny black. I think this is quite a rare one. There's been a lot of interest in this stamp. I think this might make more than anything else in the auction.
Well, here's hoping. Bad news for David, though. His Chinese tray had a bit of an accident in transit. Oh, Lord. With an auction estimate of £30 to £50, he'll get the midpoint of that. £40 for his troubles. Otherwise, it's showtime. Tablets at the ready?
I want to dance.
We need to work. Come on, let's do some work.
Let's see how we've done at the auction, then we can dance.
Now, up first is Catherine's folding stool/table. Will it get her doing a jig?
What on earth is that?
Oh, do you know, I thought you might like that. In the shop, they actually described it as an artist stool. So it's got a little carrying handle.
Oh, I do like it now.
So it's exactly. I knew you would.
£50 for it, please.
Oh, please.
Don't do it.
45 is bid. 45 is bid. £50, 55 anywhere. I'll wait for you. We all done? Oh, I'm surprised. Thought you'd make more than this at £50.
Yeah, so did I.
All finished then at 50 only.
Oh,
that's all right.
Absolutely. £20 is not to be sneezed at.
My first impression was very poor, and I apologise.
Thank you. I will take your
Yes.
apology.
David's bit of Georgian silver is up. Next, his decanter label.
I would probably sell them with other items. But
Oh,
on its
because it's
own.
not good enough for your
It's not good
auction.
enough.
That's what you're saying.
It's not good enough for me, personally, no.
20's bid. £20, 25 anywhere. 25, sir. Thank you. The bid's in the room. 25.
Profit on paper. Go on.
£25 only bid. Last chance then.
Oh.
No.
Well, I knew it wasn't going to make me loads of money, but I just loved it.
And you got some profit, as predicted.
Do you have decanter labels?
We know what sherry is.
We know. I know what's in there and it doesn't last very long.
Yeah, exactly.
Time for some supersonic luxury now. Stand by.
Sentimentality got the better of me.
Why?
My parents had these and then they dropped them.
OK.
Do you like them now?
No, I don't like them at all.
10 is bid. £10. 12 is bid. 14. 14's bid. 16's bid. 18, sir? One more. 18's bid.
Go on, have 20.
Someone
20.
in the
Go
room
on,
is
one
so
more.
desperate for these.
Don't forget. At £18. Thank you.
Good. Right.
Good riddance.
Yes, hardly supersonic, were they?
I hate them now. They made no money.
David's African mask now, his priciest purchase.
What's it worth? £100 for it? Go on. Surely 80 for it? Try 60 then. I've got 50 bid, thank you. We all settled then?
No.
All done, and I'm going to...
No.
£50.
It's painful.
Yes.
Last chance. Hammer is falling. We all finished then at 50.
Oh, David.
It could have been worse.
He doesn't look too happy about it either.
You learn more from your mistakes
No, you do learn
than
from
you
mistakes.
do from your wins. So.
Well, that was a big mistake, David.
Thanks for reminding me.
Now, can Catherine land a whopper with her next item, the fishing net?
Start me, surely what? £40 for it? Try 20 then, let's have it. Nobody for £20. I've got 10 bid, £10 at 12 anywhere, £10 is the bid at 10 at 12 anywhere, £10 is the bid.
It's struggling.
Oh, shush.
We've all settled then. £10, and I'm selling it then. Last chance then, hammer's falling.
Oh,
You're
disappointing.
enjoying this, aren't you?
Just a tiddler, I'm afraid.
Well, you've never bought one before, so there's the experience.
I won't buy
you
one
have.
again.
Yeah, exactly.
So once you've caught your fish, you'll need a set of these.
What are these worth now? £20?
Oh, 20 quid.
£20? Try 10 then. No interest? Wow, thought these would make at least £10.
What?
Try 5 then, here to be sold.
How much? How much?
£5 is bid, 6 is bid.
I'm pleased you cheered up.
Anywhere. £8 is the bid for the service. And I'm selling them, seems cheap again, at £8 then.
I hope the lucky bidder knows how to use them.
Oh, my goodness
sorry.
me.
OK, let's be
I tell you what, I
Happy
think-
for you.
Happy for me.
Let's see if Catherine's weights can tip the scales in her favour.
Nice set, all complete here. Start me, what, £100 for them?
They are worth 100.
Try 80 then. Here to be sold. Come on, £60 for the Georgian weights. No one? Oh, we have 20 bid.
Oh, I'm so happy.
30's bid now.
That's good.
40's bid now, thank you. £40 is on the internet. 45, thank you, sir. We all finished then at 45.
I can't believe that.
At least it wasn't a heavy loss.
Result. Welcome to my world.
No result. Bad result.
Now, can David's final lot get us out of the doldrums? The penny black was the auctioneer's favourite.
I have 65 bid. 65 at 70 anywhere.
Come on.
Really rare thing, this one. 70's bid. 75 is bid.
Oh.
80's bid. 85. Looks like we're settled. £80. Oh. Last chance, 85.
Oh, my heart.
At 85 and it sells then at 85.
Fair enough. It's OK.
Compared to the rest of your items, that was first class.
Well, well done for buying that. Excellent.
And finally, Catherine's Burmese rice bowls. Let's hope they do LA fantastically.
50's bid, thank you. At £50, 55 is bid. 60's bid. 70's bid.
Come on, a bit more. These should make 100 at least.
Last chance then. 75 is bid, just in time.
Come on.
75 at 80 anyway. At £75 then. I'm selling them.
You're smirking, David.
I know. I'm
You are
trying to be
smirking.
so sincere.
Only a little profit, but a result nevertheless.
We didn't do brilliantly.
But beautiful company.
Absolutely. And we can do better, and we will.
And we should.
We really
In
should.
fact, we'd better.
That's the spirit. Catherine began this leg of the trip with £246, but made a loss. After sale room fees, she ends the day on £214.36. Bad luck. But David lost just a little bit less. After auction costs, his £285 starting pot now sits at £263.66. And those totals will carry forward to round 3 of this battle royale.
Right.
OK, Mom.
Let's go, Daddy.
Let's go.
Next time, we head overseas.
Oh, look at this! The Isle of Wight.
The guys really put Dolly through her paces.
There's going to be a hare that's going to jump out!
The eggs are good.
And it's all smiles at the auction.
Oh!
Do I see 60 anywhere?
Oh!
Keep going.